Music. It's not just part of our daily lives, it's part of our wrestling fandom as well, and it has been for decades. That's where this show comes in. Music of the Mat, the podcast devoted exclusively to the music of pro wrestling, hosted by Andrew Rich. Hey, that's me. Each episode delivers a different topic with a variety of great guests, fun conversations, musical analysis, and of course, a heartfelt pun or two. New episodes drop every other Tuesday on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcast app of choice. Check out Music of the Mat only on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Hi, my name is Tyler Fornes, and I am the co-host of The Good, the Bad, and the Hunky here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Every week, my co-host Fred Moreland and I discuss all the happenings of All Elite Wrestling and everything going on in the universe of Tony Khan. We talk about Dynamite, we talk about Rampage, and we will talk about Collision when the time comes as well, along with all the appearances outside of AEW from all the best talents in All Elite Wrestling. This is one of the more cohesive wrestling companies in the entire world, and we discuss every intricacy about it, including the unique booking of Tony Khan that is both a huge positive and a major detriment. Check us out every single Thursday here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Here we go! Baby, kiss me like a love song.
You're listening to the Emerald Flow Show on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
Welcome to episode 43 of the Emerald Flow Show. We're a podcast on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. You can follow us on Twitter at Emerald Flow Show, and you can listen to us on all of your podcast apps. And if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. And if you are feeling generous, you can go to voicesofwrestling.com/donate to donate to the show. I'm Gerard DeTruel here with Paul Vosh. Paul, we have a lot to talk about this week.
A lot. Yeah, I think there's one really big thing that we're going to talk about that was really important. But yeah, I just looked at the run sheet and I was like, oh yeah, this run sheet is way longer than I thought it was going to be. And I realized, oh yeah, we actually have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Well, Paul, funny, because when I was going to bed and I woke up early briefly for like an hour, I thought we were going to have even more to talk about.
Oh, yeah. No. Luckily, that just turned out to be a produce show and nothing else.
Yeah. So basically, they're like, oh, urgent. Kento Miyahara and Tsuyoki Fukuda, the president of All Japan, are holding a press conference on Instagram Live. And I was a little like, why are they doing this on Instagram Live? But at the same time, Fukuda doesn't usually show up at all the press conferences unless it's like someone's leaving or something like that. So I was like, what's up? But yeah, it just turned out to be like some Kento promotion in Osaka.
But it's not even like promotion. It's like the show that is like soon as well. Like it's not
even that it's
like something long out. It's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know, because also the tickets are moving fairly well from what I can gather looking at the ticket sites. Like the premium are sold out and all the other sections have like only a few left, it says. So I don't know what's going on with that, or if they're trying to pivot to Instagram Live or something.
Maybe
I don't know.
with
So
Twitter kind of dying, I guess that makes sense, and you need to find a way to like make use of Instagram,
yeah.
which is still
Well,
something I haven't figured out for our account because I'm not gonna know what to post there.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, because what are you gonna do? Like other people's pictures of the show? Like
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know. Like that's the problem. Like I always have to have a picture there. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
yeah, exactly. So we were saved from having a log like conversation about like, oh no, what is Ultra Man gonna do because Kento blew out his knee or he's leaving or
Yeah.
something like that. So,
When in theory this was supposed to be like kind of a big victory lap for both promotions. I mean, now it is that again, but that could have kind of derailed that whole conversation.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. So before we get to what everyone's been talking about, and I mean everybody's been talking about this, this match has been seen by a lot of people that I think don't necessarily watch All Japan or Noah regularly too, which is a cool thing. But we'll start with Noah Sunny Voyage 2023 from July 9th at Tokyo Tamamure Messe in front of 557 fans, which I think is perfectly respectable number for what this show was, actually.
Yeah.
But we're just going to talk about the top two matches. First, for the GHC national title, Ahio to Dr. Wagner Jr. defeated Amaska in 1302 with the Wagner driver special for his fifth defense of the title. I mean, people expected this to be good going in, and I thought it really was. Barring the, does Amaska have a chance of actually winning?
Yeah. But I think it's kind of cool that they actually did an open weight challenge because it's just something that happens so rarely in Noah.
Yeah.
They're just really strict about keeping the divisions apart.
I vaguely recall Minoru Tanaka challenging for this title very early on in its existence, but that's about it.
Yeah, I think maybe originally that was kind of announced to be an open weight title, but it was like basically just like it was a complete heavyweight title for like, yeah, minus that Minoru Tanaka defense.
Yeah.
No, but good match otherwise. Like I think, like I can't even say all that much about it because I think it just exactly delivered to the expectations, which sounds like a backhanded compliment, but in this case, I expected a good match and I got a good match out of it.
Yeah, and it's just another like notch on Wagner's belt, like for his like I don't know most improved run or I don't think it's like a most outstanding or like best or anything like that. But I think he's definitely putting like a case together to be like a solid, like incredibly improved wrestler.
Yes, no. Like I said, I really wanted to find a way to get him onto my 5 list for the awards, and because it was both second half last year and first half this year, I couldn't because the second half last year wasn't that great. But yeah, if we had some sort of like most improved or something category, he definitely would have been my pick for that.
Yeah. And then in the main event, Kaito Kiyomiya and Keno defeated Manabu Soya and Daiki Inaba in 2209 with a modified Shining Wizard from Kiyomiya on Inaba. And Paul, the only big thing about this is we have Blue Keno now.
Yes, Blue Keno. Yeah, like I said, I actually wouldn't mind the blue gear. I'm just really it's the red. It's the red lions. Like I get it, they were expensive, but man, it's maybe fit the blue tone that fits better with those in that case. I don't know. Like it just really doesn't fit at all. It's like, I don't know, it gets massive negative points on like the wrestler fashion scale, basically.
He'll probably I could see him getting blue lines down the line. Maybe they just weren't ready, and that's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I think otherwise Blue Keno, I think it's okay. It's a bit of a because we've seen him in red for so long, it's always like a bit of a adjustment phase.
Yeah, and now like I'm just looking at the shows coming up before N1, and it's like he's just basically teaming with like the home army now.
Yeah.
Rest of the time. So
I mean, same with Sawyer, right?
Yeah.
It's just also I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if sometime after the N1 we get like some sort of new faction because because the Noah alignment chart, like it looks really empty now. Like because on the heavyweight side, like we only have Breal and Good Looking Guys, and Good Looking Guys is now the only faction that has both heavyweights and juniors. So I wouldn't be shocked if sometime after the N1 we get like something new because I don't know, it just looks really empty, especially after we've had so many factions for so long.
Yeah. And I mean, it was a good match, of course, with these four guys.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah,
I mean,
very good.
as expected.
Yeah. Soya's new gear is not bad either. It's sort of like a blue and red mashup.
Definitely better than the black gear.
Yes, definitely. And so we move on to what everyone's been talking about. Noah, One Night Dream from July 15th at Korakuen Hall in front of 1,515 fans. That's a super no vacancy full house.
And it felt like it.
Yes. I guess now they just don't have standing fans anymore. I don't know if that's a regulation or not, like on the balcony with their banners and everything. So I don't know if that's
I mean, from everything we've heard is that the Korakuen staff is just really, like, ever since COVID, the Korakuen staff has just been really strict. Like, they were really hesitant to like loosen up restrictions even after like all the restrictions got removed, right?
Yeah.
Like, remember when when basically Ultimo, like at the Dragon Gate show, where Ultimo basically told the fans to make noise, and then they had to have like, I don't know, I think like Real Saito had to come out and tell the fans to not make noise because Korakuen staff was just yelling at him. So it might just be that they are legitimately just like, no, this is like the maximum we will allow in here and no more.
Yes. I had something on the top of my head and I didn't know what I was going to say. Oh, it's funny though, because with every passing show, you see more and more fans without masks too.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. So we start off with the Yu Owada debut match. Kai Fujimura defeated Yu Owada in 5:53 with a crab hold. I mean, I don't want to make any sweeping comments, but he's obviously like solid, well trained. And he's obviously going to kick around in the junior division for now, but who knows? They need heavyweight someday, though.
Exactly. And I mean, at 178, like, he is of a height that is a reasonable heavyweight if he puts on some weight, Noah.
He's taller than Nakajima and Kento.
Exactly. Yeah. That I think for Noah we can safely say we have like the Nakajima line, and if you're above the Nakajima line, you can be a heavyweight.
Yeah. If as long as you're not like rail thin, I guess.
Yes, yeah, if you're not like Kotoge.
Yeah. And then next up, good-looking guys Anthony Green, Yohei, and Tadasuke defeated Jimmy Yang, Super Crazy, and Stallion Rogers in 750 with the Gammon G from Yohei on Crazy. It's sort of funny that they flew Jimmy Yang to be in a less than 8-minute match.
Yeah, I mean, they flew him here because of his daughter. So
yeah, but I always dug Yang, especially in his All Japan run. So it was nice to see him.
Yeah.
But you know,
it was kind of interesting that they kind of built this as like big like WWE thing. And like for me at first, I was like, oh, they built it as WWE because of Jimmy Yang. But then I realized that not just that everyone on his team is a former like WWE guy, but also Anthony Green is as well.
Yes, that's right. But I mean, Green and Rogers were like in NXT and not even really like super featured, but you know.
No. I mean, I have no idea what like WWE's viewership is in Japan, but like I can't imagine that there are a lot of people that really like watch NXT. But then again, that's really the only place where you can watch like Japanese talent, I guess.
That's true.
You have to watch. Maybe the WWE level, like NXT level up, like viewership is really high in Japan because they all want to watch Jiro.
I don't even think Jiro's on level up these days. I feel like I saw a post of his where he was in Japan not that long ago. So
that's generally the sign that like that
he's waiting for his contract to run out.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, we had the same thing with Sari, where she's just like posting stuff from Japan for 2 months and then she's just back.
Yeah. Although if Jiro leaves, I'm not sure he comes back to All Japan because Tajiri's gone.
Yeah, I still don't think he really fits. Like,
no, he doesn't fit in.
What even like his slot is gone basically.
Yeah. So he could either go to Kyushu Pro or maybe
I'm trying to think where would he even fit in the scene currently.
Who knows? Noah might even
DDT.
I don't think it's impossible Noah like takes him, but we'll see.
Yes.
Then next up, Jazzy Yang and Miyuki Takase defeated Hibiscus Me and You in 9 minutes and 46 seconds with a moonsault attack from Yang on Me. So I guess when it was a year or two ago on WrestleMania weekend, everyone thought Yang was not very good. I mean, she's very young, but if you look at her cage match like I did, she's like consistently works indies. So, I mean, I still think she looked a little green here, but I don't think she was horrible or anything.
No, I mean I've definitely seen like worse wrestlers,
Yeah.
especially on the like especially like women that come up on the American Indies sometimes. Like they don't really get the best training there. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So I feel like I think her going to Japan is like exactly like what she should do because
Absolutely.
that's really where you can learn how to work.
Definitely.
And there's definitely been people that came up on the American Indies where on their first match in Japan they looked like absolute shit, and then later they became like really good workers.
Well, I mean, I thought Anthony Green was sort of like meh when he first showed up in Noah, and now he's getting
he has
pretty good.
improved.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like you also have like Wagner as well for a while looked like
Yeah,
pretty
and
bad until he
and
became
Green and
great.
Wagner both had many years of experience prior to getting there. So
Or Diamante, who literally went from the worst wrestler in Dragon Gate to the best wrestler in Dragon Gate in like 3 years.
And then so we had an N1 scramble. Lance Anoa'i, Adam Brooks, and Saxon Huxley and Jack Morris defeated Masa Kitamiya, Manabu Soya, Daiki Inabe, and Yoshiki Inamura in 11 minutes and 17 seconds with the Samoan splash from Anoa'i on Soya. Obviously, this was just sort of to get over some of the foreigners who are relatively new, especially Anoa'i. I don't know. I thought it was okay. I don't know. Anoa'i doesn't really stand out. I mean, look, he's part of the family, and he's not been signed to WWE despite having multiple tryouts. So
that's not like this is not really like a good sign, because like at least for example like Fatu, like Jacob Fatu, right? There's like a reason why he's not signed.
Yeah.
Because he's obviously good enough. Whereas with Lance, I think it's just
he can't even be like the
there.
fall guy for Roman or something.
Yeah, exactly. If you can't even be like who's like the fourth guy in the bloodline?
Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, like if you're like worse than that guy, like I don't know, it's not really a good sign.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, maybe he can prove us wrong, but
yeah, of course. Really I don't write anyone off learning in Japan. I think it's very important. So maybe this is what finally does it, right? We'll see.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just like when they all came out, like I mean, and again, I mean, maybe that is also to your point. Like Jack Morris was just like so much more of like he just stood out when they all came out on his team compared to the rest of his team.
Yeah.
But again, he's also the one that has worked like Japan the most. So maybe there is hope for like Lance there as well.
I will say this: if he doesn't show any improvement, he's never going to be in WWE.
Oh yes, for sure. I mean, how old is he?
I think he is in his early 30s. I want to say 32. Let me just see here. He's 31.
Yeah. So it really is kind of like put up a shut up time for him, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so we go to the N1 special tag match. Go Shiozaki and Akio the Dr. Wagner Jr. defeated Jake Lee and Keno in 16-15 with the go on lariat from Shiozaki on Keno. I mean, I thought this rocked.
Yeah. I went 4 stars on this.
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought these final 3 matches all delivered one way or another, shockingly. One of them I did not necessarily expect to. Also, Go's biggest win since returning from injury.
Yeah. And if they really built it up strongly like that as well, where they like kind of like tease kind of Go and Keno like facing off early on in the match, and then Keno just tagged out. And yeah, no, I thought they built this like amazingly, and all 4 men were just really good as well. Like I would even go as far to say like this was one of Jake's best performances since coming to Noah as well. Like just everyone was just amazing in this match.
I mean, I think Jake has steadily slowly but steadily sort of improved in his role, but it's also jarring because you immediately made him champion, right?
Yes.
So that's not always, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think I'm in the middle on this. Like, I don't think Jake's GHC title run has been a disaster by any means, but I just think it was weak in the early days.
Yeah. I mean, it's been better than his Triple Crown runs, I will say that.
Yes. God, yes.
Well, I mean, definitely. I mean, I think no one will dispute that it's better than the second one, but I also feel it's better than the first one.
Yeah. And I still think Keno versus Go is the finals.
Yeah.
Even though
No,
I
I
see
think to me that they
more people
both
talking about
definitely.
Nakajima after this show, but
I don't know, like, because again, for me, because I get people were saying that like it would be kind of crazy to go with Go now, given like all of his injuries, right? But he has never won the N1. So if he doesn't win it this year, I feel like he never will. Like if
yep.
you want that to have, if you want that to be in his resume, you need to do it this year because you're not like it's too late after this year. Not that he's gonna retire, but I think that's like he's too far past his prime if you do it next year.
To rely on top for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely. And then in the semi-main, which I thought the placement of this was strange, but Duralistico, Ninja Mac, and Amaska defeated Hayata, Reyes, Scorpion, and Dante Leon in 13 minutes and 29 seconds with the La Mystica from Duralistico on Escorpion. Paul, I don't know how they did it, but this is pretty damn good.
Yeah, no, I mean, like just right from the get-go, and Realistico just annihilated the entire first row of Korakuen.
This was the best Duralistico has looked in Noah.
Yes.
Yes,
no, if I'm Noah, yeah, I just want Rhea Scorpion just there to like do this like every show, just base for all of the guys.
You could also argue this is the best batch that Dante Leon has been part of in Noah.
Yeah. I mean, and like Hayata kicking Ninja Mac on like the ninja special, like as he's like flipping over the top rope. That's like the coolest thing Hayata has done in forever.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I think this was really good. Like even like the bit more like contrived stuff, like the double top rope walk from Ninja Mac and Leon. Like I think that was still kind of cool. And this just vastly over delivered my expectations because I also looked at the card placement. I was like, why is this the semi-main event? Especially after the match before it was so good. I was like, how is that not the semi-main event? And then they all like six. I guess maybe they took it personally and were just like, no, we're just gonna show you guys why we're the semi-main event on the show.
Yeah, I mean, we need like all Scorpion all the time.
Yeah. To just direct traffic and base and keep a match together. Because again, if you can do that in AAA, then you can definitely do that in Noah.
Oh God, yes. And then after the match, Hayata and Atsuki Aoyagi had more of a stare down. Because Atsuki was on commentary, and we'll get to that match. Talk about that match later.
Just quick on the face-off, it made me realize again that how tall everyone is in All Japan. Because Hayata is one of the big, like, taller juniors in Noah, and Atsuki just kind of towered over him. Like, would he be a heavyweight in Noah? Like, he wouldn't be far off, right?
Yeah.
Like, he would be a smaller heavyweight, but he would probably be one.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it also depends on like, okay, so what else is going on and how badly do we need heavyweights?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think it would be impossible. And then I guess we should say also they announced Will Ospreay versus Naomichi Marufuji for
as Ospreay was wrestling in the G1
for Marufuji's 25th anniversary show in September, and I'm looking forward to that. I think Marufuji is going to bust out stuff he hasn't done in a while in that match.
Oh yeah, no, and Ospreay as well is like he's going to be willing to take whatever Marufuji suggests to him as well because that's his big hero. Like he will be like Ospreay is always motivated, but he will be like double motivated on that one.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely can't wait to see that one. And then in our main event, Katsuhiko Nakajima defeated Kento Miyahara in 34 minutes and 12 seconds with a vertical spike. You could say a lot of things about this match, but I gotta say the first thing is just oh my god, the atmosphere was incredible.
Yes. That this was like I said, like this felt like a full Korakuen because just this really is kind of like something that I don't think we've really seen since the pandemic started, because that's always what Korakuen was like known for. Like if you give him something special, like that crowd will really sink its teeth into that, and that's what happened here. Like we just had, like just from the moment Kento's theme started, that crowd just became completely unglued.
Yeah,
and also I think what was really impressive is that it was like a legit split crowd.
Yes,
because you had like the Kento and the Katsuhiko chants like both going on at the same time and being equally loud. Like they somehow managed to actually like, I think they actually managed to create the kind of atmosphere that they wanted for the Altogether show here.
Yes. I mean, I was also sort of surprised with the sheer amount of Kento shirts too, though.
Yeah.
Like they turned out to see him.
Yeah.
Too.
No, I mean, this is a big deal. Like that. I mean, that was really helped elevate this because this match felt like a big deal. I mean, they sold it out like super fast. Like they already had sold it out, I think, in like June.
Yeah, it was like a few days. It was just, yeah. And that match itself was, I don't know, sublime.
Every time.
Right? Because it's like, look what they did. And they did, first of all, it didn't feel like it was a 34-minute match. I remember the 10-minute call being like, holy shit.
Yeah, no, they really went hard in this match. Like I actually went 5 stars on this. I need to debate with myself if I put this ahead of Okabayashi and Aoki, but I need to like debate that because and also this isn't over as well, right? Like the whole structure of the match made it very clear that this isn't over, and like that they actually used this as well to like set up a bunch of stuff for like other matches that they're going to have down the line. Like just I like, because I was like thinking about it, I was like, yeah, no, this is really good, but like would I go 5 stars on it yet? And then when Nakajima kind of like broke out of the shutdown before Kento could hit it, and then he like knocked him, he basically knocked him out with the slap to call back to like the press conference, and then just gave him the vertical spike just to like to make it more definitive essentially, and then just pinned him. Like I thought that was like a really good finish too. Like just top to bottom, just amazing structure for everything. And I also like that, like it felt like, I mean, sometimes like going back and forth can be a bit of a risky proposition, but I also felt like either man felt really dominant in their control period. Like they just really just like laid it in like really, really harshly. Like, because obviously we know now that all of this is happening, that they probably like buried whatever there was, right? Like that, like all of that, like, or at least most of like the stuff has been smoothed over now, but I feel like they still kind of managed to like tap into whatever like residual frustrations there still are, and we're like, okay, we're just gonna take this out on each other in the ring.
I actually one of my first reactions to this is like, oh, I think they were holding back and they got something even better in them.
Oh no, that's the other thing where like I went 5 on this already, and then I was thinking it's like, okay, and I was almost like went back down because I was like, well, I feel like they can have an even better match than that, which is scary, but I was like, no, this was still a 5-star match. But yeah, it is scary to think that the next match very likely is going to be even better than this one.
Well, I thought they left a few things on the table because, well, I mean, they did the prison lock. I actually saw.
But they didn't do a headbutt.
No, it's funny because I saw like someone on. I was reading cage match reviews and someone complained about the leg work.
Always can. It's just the universal complaint when you don't have anything.
But I mean, it was just there to set up the prison lock to do the Masa Saito spot, and then Kento did the lariat. There's still like a Northern Lights bomb spot that I'm sure they're gonna do.
Yeah, and I think what they might actually also do with like the prison lock spot, they might also do like a headbutt spot on that to call back to like Masa Kitamiya doing that as well.
Yeah.
Because I was halfway expecting it, because they were doing all kinds of. Actually, what I could see happening as well is like, I don't know, like next time like Nakajima has the prison lock in, like Kento does like a knockout slap or something like that to him.
Yeah.
No, I mean that like I said, that's the scary thing with this. Like there's so much stuff set up here that like we're gonna see like in future matches.
There's gonna be a kick out of the shutdown, I think.
Yeah.
And probably
they didn't really do a whole lot of kickouts. Like because I don't think they even like either of them even really went for a pinfall until like 20 minutes in.
Yeah. And Kento kicking out of the vertical spike or a diamond bomb. I don't know.
I mean, we haven't seen like not that they get involved directly in a match, but like we haven't even like heard from like what like Kensuke Sasaki or Akira Hokuto think about the whole thing.
Yeah. Maybe they won't.
You know, it's weird, because it's like all based on stuff that happened in their dojo.
Yeah.
with and it involves their like de facto adopted son.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's weird that they have like the fact that they have never been asked about it leads me to believe that they're kind of like saving that for like wherever they're gonna do this next, because they're obviously gonna run this back in a bigger building, because they like now more than ever, because they just basically sold it out. They basically sold out Korakuen instantly, which no one has done in a while. Like this was the biggest Korakuen number this year, and I think it's the biggest Korakuen number since January 2020 or whenever like capacity restrictions came into place.
Right.
So yeah, like they're gonna run this back in like a bigger building, like a Sumo Hall, or I don't know where, like Yoyogi.
That's what I'm
something
thinking.
Yeah, because like I think they're gonna run it back in an All Japan ring. So yeah, so they're probably saving it for something like that to just really like maximize the business here. But I don't like I think really the thing like that we take away from this is it's just a massive W for both promotions.
Absolutely. Were you surprised that Nakajima won?
A little bit. I mean, to me, really, either result made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense if Nakajima wins here. You have like because Kento is really the one that has the gripe, right? Like Nakajima isn't the one that has a gripe here. Because Nakajima is just like, I don't know, I just trained you. I don't know what your problem is. Whereas Kento's like, no, you motherfucker, you put me through hell, and I'm gonna make you pay. And so I feel like Nakajima winning the first match makes a lot of sense, because then Kento has even more of a reason to be frustrated and like trying to come after like Nakajima.
Mm-hmm. Do you think we're gonna get Kento and Yuma versus Axis?
Yeah, I feel like Axis might be winning the tag titles.
I think it's very possible. Is that a step backwards, getting more outsiders with these titles, or do you think this particular story might mitigate it?
That is the one thing where I'm like kind of, because the story is actually, and that is actually a point I wanted to make when we were talking about the Hayata Atsuki match, where I think Atsuki is winning that belt, and I think he is. We might be getting a reverse of what was happening previously, where like now All Japan is coming back and winning Noah titles, like they're now going on a counteroffensive.
Mm-hmm.
So an Axis winning the tag titles would be counter to that. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is also another option that you could go for here.
Right.
Kento wins the JHC title and then Nakajima wins it off of him.
Yeah.
And like the third match or whatever.
Yep, that's very possible too. Because
again, it would just be the funniest thing if Kento beats Jake.
Well,
for the JHC title.
I don't think that's going to happen, but I there's still unfinished things you could do with Kento and Go too.
Yeah, because they never really paid that one off. Or Kento and Keno.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I actually want to see it. My top
there's so much interesting stuff here that could happen.
You know what my top Keno match is? It's actually against Suwama.
Yes, the singles match between them.
So
and also Suwama, every time Suwama challenges for like a singles title, it's like the same thing as it was with like Triple H 10 years ago, where you just like have that kind of like dread where it's like, oh no, is he gonna like book himself to win the title again?
Yep. We could talk more about that later, but we'll see. So I mean, this was an incredible atmosphere.
Yes.
And one of the best matches of the year. I was happy to see the sheer amount of attention that it got.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very this is how you have a 34-minute match, I guess.
Yes. I mean, it was the best. Obviously it was one of the best matches of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was easily the best match of the day, because this was happening at the same time as, with this match, the show was already over. But basically, it was also day one of the G1 in New Japan. And this match was just obviously like way better than anything on that show. Although that show had good matches as well.
Well, so I'll ask you, I have not seen today's show, but what do you think of Kaito's performance against Yota Tsuji?
I thought that match was really good.
I thought too.
Yeah, that was like, I think I went like 4.25 or something like that on it. Like it was a really strong performance. I was surprised. I was actually surprised Kaito was winning. That Kaito won.
Mm-hmm.
Like I actually fully expected him to like lose that match and then basically do like a comeback story to like advance.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's not the story that they're doing with him. So
right.
Yeah, I'm curious like what happens, because like he is like 2-0 now as well. 'Cause
Yes.
he beat Chase Owens.
Well, I mean, so now if any of his losses won't be to anyone embarrassing. And he's already pinned he's already pinned one of the big young stars because he still has to face Narita.
Yeah.
Who I think
who are also all countering each other out by like just going to draws with each other all the time.
I mean, I think he beats Narita.
Mhm.
I think he might lose to Umino.
Yeah. Like I feel like my predictions has already been outdone. Like I feel like I still think Kaito advances, but I feel like it's probably gonna be Sanada and Kaito now that are gonna go through.
Yes, I would assume so. Who else? So Narita, and he's beaten Chase and Yoda-Tsuji.
Yeah.
Did he beat Sanada?
That was always the one that people were like speculating that he's beating Sanada to set up a title match.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I feel like if he's beating Tsuji, he beat Owens. Like if he also beats Sanada and then he beats Narita, like he's basically already through at that point. Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
Like he only has I don't know.
I think he's going through. So
yeah, I do think he's going through, but I think he's still going through as like second in the block, not first.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess that also depends like what happens in the B block, because again, it's because I think basically the only way this works out where they can meet each other in the semifinals is if they both finish in the same position in their block. So Okada would have to be second in his block if Kaito finishes second for them to meet in the semifinals, and if Okada finishes first, then Kaito also needs to finish first for them to like face off in the semis.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. And so, that is that. I mean, obviously, if you haven't seen this match, you need to go out of your way and see it.
Yes. No, absolutely. Like, actually, if I was Noah, I would probably like put this up on YouTube or something to like get even more like visibility on it.
Yes, not a bad idea at all. And then so we have on the 20th at Shinjuku Face, another Sunny Void show. Of note, Taishi Ozawa versus Yu Owada is the opener, and I would assume that will be Ozawa's first ever victory.
Oh yeah, that's true. I hadn't actually thought of that.
The undercard is not much to write home about. I mean, there's Ada versus Leona.
That is a literal whatever you're doing here. What is this?
Yeah. But the main event is Hayata versus Atsuki Aoyagi for the GHC Junior Heavyweight Championship.
The most I've been excited about a Hayata match in ever.
I mean, this will be a real test of Atsuki's ability, I think.
But the other question is, do you think Noah would actually put a title on a 23-year-old?
Yes, I think he's winning, and I think he's gonna drop it to Junta. Because wouldn't anything less feel? What was the point of this from Noah's perspective?
Well, okay, but how? Okay, I have a counter proposal to you. My counter proposal is Hayata wins lol. Not this match, but Atsuki has like a run for like 2 defenses and then drops it back to Hayata.
I mean, that's also very possible. But if you're putting your title on the outsider, I think you want to leverage like someone coming and vanquishing them to get the rub.
I mean, I could also see it being Eita.
Yeah, that's possible.
Clearly doing something here. Like I think Eita might be a possibility. But actually something else I thought about. How old was Kaito when he won the GHC heavyweight title?
24, 25, I think. Wait.
Because I'm trying to think, would that make Atsuki the youngest ever champion in Noah? Because I'm trying to think who else would have been like 23 when they won the title. 23 and under.
He was born in 1996, and when he won in 2018, he was 22. Jeez.
Yeah, because he was really young. Like he was really, really young.
Yeah.
So he is still like the youngest ever champion in Noah then.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's I mean, again, like if you just look at his kayfabe accomplishments, they're like insane.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm going with Atsuki.
Yes, it really will be a test of like Atsuki's ability to carry someone.
Also, I'm assuming he's getting a defense or two, and I would hope we get like, I hope it's like Yoshioka and like Alejandro.
Yeah, because like to Nova, that's like, yeah, that's some like throwaway defenses against guys we don't really care
Or
about. But I'm like,
Yohei. Actually,
yeah,
you know
I
what?
feel,
I'd take anyone as long as it's. Yeah, I'm trying to think who. Yeah,
I mean, my ideal one would be a Maxa.
yeah. I mean,
A Max
Amaska.
Santogawa. A Max Santogawa.
I mean, I could
But I
see
don't think we're getting that.
Amaska like beating him for it too. Actually, I should.
Yeah, maybe.
I
'Cause I
just feel
think-
like there's
Yeah.
they've left stuff on the table with him as like a
Yeah.
as the top guy in the junior
And
division.
just to go back to Hayata yet again for like, I don't know. Because I feel like Hayata is moving over to like chase the junior tag titles after this again.
Right. So yeah. I don't know. I hope he get Atsuki getting just 2 defenses is good. Or
Yeah.
he could go as long as I would say probably like 1 to 2 defenses max. He drops it at Budokan.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes sense.
Oh yeah, apropos Budokan, I just need to bring this up real quick. They announced where the New Year's show is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And the New Year's show is going to be in the Ariake Arena.
Oh, January 1st is Ariake?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought they already
Unfortunately-
announced it in Budokan.
No, they announced that on the show that like it's actually not even on January 1st, it's January 2nd. Unless they're running January 1st and January 2nd in big buildings, but that would be really ballsy even by their standards.
Let me just for some reason. Okay, let's see here. Real quick. Oh yeah, you're right. Noah the New Year, January 2nd, Ariake.
Yeah. So sad for me. And Noah robs me of going to Budokan.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But that allows you to attend the 01 January 1st show.
Yeah, or I could go to the 7 a.m. January 1st YMZ show, where you need to pick if you wake up early to go to that one, or if you. I would assume most of the people that go to that show just stay up.
Yeah. The walk of shame to the YMZ show.
Hey, I'm gonna bring my YMZ towel just to be safe.
That's interesting. Okay, and it doesn't have a start time listed, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, okay, so there's some cards that were announced before the N1 starts on August 6th. There's really nothing on these. There's like Go Shiozaki and Hiroki versus Nakajima and Katoge, and there's Jake Lee and Jack Morris versus Axis.
Mm-hmm. That actually should be a lot of fun.
But those are the only matches that like even remotely,
seem like interesting. Yeah, no, this is just completely, just kind of biding a time until the N1. But fair enough.
We have the N1 cards, and real quick, the opening night at Yokohama Budokan doesn't have anything like any money matches.
Yeah, that is such a weird.
Kento versus
decision.
Adam Brooks, Jake Lee versus Timothy Thatcher. I'm kind of curious to see that. Nakajima versus Soya, Lance Anoa'i versus Yuma Anzai.
That will be interesting for like different reasons, but I'm really curious. Yeah, I can't
Wagner,
even imagine what that match is going to look like.
Wagner versus Daiki Inaba could be very good.
Mm-hmm.
And Go Shiozaki versus Saxon Huxley.
Yeah, like what is even the main event?
And Jack Morris versus Inamura. That might be my most like the match I'm looking forward to the most.
I mean, if these actually are like the interesting thing is if these are actually like the match orders, then Inamura actually gets pretty high up on the card relatively frequently.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if they are, but we'll see. Well, because like I have this listed here. It's like, well, technically this one Korakuen show's main event would be Jack Morris versus Thatcher, even though you got Kento versus Yuki Yoshioka, and Kitamiya versus Inamura also. Like those could be other main events.
Yeah, that's
or even Shiozaki versus Wagner on that show.
Yeah, those feel a lot more like main events than that.
Yeah. But let's fast forward to August 20th at Châteauret's Gâteau. Sounds very French. Kingdom Sapporo. We've got Shiozaki versus Inaba.
Mm-hmm.
Manabu Soya versus Lance Anoa'i. Hyo to Dr. Wagner Jr. versus Yuma Anzai.
That should be really cool. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong day. The last day is the 27th. The last block day is the 27th that called Kawasaki. My mistake. So it's Go versus.
But just real quick to that other one. which has like Jake Lee Jake Lee versus Jack Morris. Like for example, that is that's something that leads me to believe that the order they have on there isn't the actual match order because it's in Sapporo. So they're obviously going to main event with Jake.
Oh, right. Yes, that is very true. Yep, absolutely. So we've got Go versus Nakajima, which is got to be the block decider for Block B, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There'll be other people in play, like say Wagner versus Soya. That could be a Soya spoiler.
Yeah, exactly. Soya spoils Wagner there, and then maybe sets up another title match or something.
Inaba versus Anoa'i. That's going to be meaningless.
Yeah.
Saxon Huxley versus Yuma Anzai. I think this is Anzai getting a win to have like an end of the tournament. A nice win at the end of the tournament, but I don't think he's going to be in contention.
No.
We've got Jake Lee versus Kento, which I assume is the other block decider.
Yeah.
Jack Morris versus Adam Brooks. Again, it could be a spoiler for Morris could get spoiled here. Kitamiya versus Thatcher. Maybe. I don't know.
And that could be either of them, like being the spoiler here, really.
Yeah. And Inamura versus Yoshioka.
That actually should be. I'm actually really curious about because that could be a really good match.
Definitely. Not a bad last night, but I think the scenario is pretty obvious.
Yes. No, it's pretty clear that Block B comes down to Shiozaki versus Nakajima, and Block A comes down to Jake versus Kano.
Not that that's a bad thing. And some of the other matches are obviously like going to have like people that are going to get spoiled. But it remains to be seeing which ones. So we're going to move on to All Japan next, but first, just a word from our sponsor. Sports betting has rapidly risen in popularity, and I want to connect you all with an opportunity to get started and get ahead. Having multiple sportsbook accounts is the most simple way to maximize your profits, and there has never been a better time to sign up. When you visit our page, betstamp.app/VOW, that's BETSTAMP.app/VOW, you'll be connected to all the sports books in your region, along with a review of each platform and its unique benefits. All of these sports books have valuable sign-up offers for new users, and when you register through our link, you will automatically receive the top offer at each one. When you use multiple sports books, you ensure that you can always access the best available odds, which is key to successful sports betting. If you want to take advantage of these benefits and support the Voice of Wrestling Podcast Network, please consider signing up for your next sportsbook at betstamp.app/VOW. That's BETSTAMP.app/VOW. And so we move on to All Japan Pro Wrestling, where there's been a few things going on. We talked at the beginning of the show about the Kento press conference that got us all incredibly apprehensive for a few hours there.
That had some real, like, your parents sitting you down and being like, son, we have something serious to talk about, and you expect your parents get divorced, but instead I'm telling you it's actually we're gonna get you a puppy.
It's not even that. Like I'm thinking about like, because a puppy is not as big as whatever Kento is doing. I mean, a puppy is bigger deal than whatever Kento is doing, I should say. Is what I mean.
Yeah, true. Yeah. It's literally like, your parents sit down and be like, okay, so we have something very serious for you to talk about, and then it turns out, oh, well, actually, we're just gonna go to McDonald's.
yeah, exactly. So that's it. So we start with from July 7th, Evolution 5, new launch Genesis from Yokohama Radiant Hall in front of 360 fans, which is a super no vacancy full house, which is sort of impressive given like some of the dire numbers that Noah sometimes draws there. And I don't think this show had that much other than like sort of the official Evolution reunion.
No, no. I mean, it was just kind of there.
Oh, before we start, best wishes to the Saito brothers who will not be on the July tour. I believe their father is ill. So they went back to the States, and that's why they're not going to be around. So hopefully all is good for them. They were on this show, and then they weren't on anything after that. So we start off with Atsuki Aoyagi and Rising Hayato defeating Yoshitatsu and Black Mensa Ray in 723 with the Sid Vicious from Hayato on Mensa Ray. Perfectly solid opener. Then we had Shuji Ishikawa and Yuma Anzai. This was both billed as the return match. as an exhibition match because Yuma Anzai miraculously healed his torn
Oh yeah.
tricep in like a week and a half. And Shuji
Yeah, I don't know what's
Ishikawa,
up with
like
that. That's such a like, I don't know.
what
Such a weird word.
wasn't it like a cervical back thing they listed for
Yeah.
Ishikawa and he's back.
Yeah.
So they went to a 10-minute draw, which was nice, solid action. I don't think it was as good as their match from last December, but that was more like Ishikawa beating the shit out of Anzai. Whereas this was a lot more competitive. And then we have Evolution Women's versus Sekigun from Oz Academy. Mayumi Ozaki, Maya Yukihi, and Kakeru defeated Zones, Chi-Chi, and Sunny in 1350 when Yukihi used the whiteout on Chi-Chi. I have to say, I thought this was much better than that tag match from the Oda Ward show. Evolution was a lot more competitive here. And I thought they did a pretty good. Again, this is like, don't have the exact number, but this is like their 5th or 6th match. You know,
I mean,
these women.
there's only so much you can expect.
We're still sub 10 matches from these women.
Yeah.
But I thought it was better than that one on Oda Ward Gym show. I mean, but it's the same formula. Like Sekigun beat the crap out of them for ages. Ozaki hits them all with chain, but they got more of a comeback on this one.
I mean, really, like it still isn't complete because there's no police.
Yes. Well, I'm sure maybe if they do show up in Oz Academy, then there will be police. I could see them building to like teasing a victory and then police interferes.
Yeah.
Because it's not like
it's kind of the most important part of the whole act.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to do the Oz Academy act, yeah.
Yeah.
And then next up, Hokuto Omori and Naruki Doi defeated Fuminori Abe and Ryo Inoue in 11:36 with a running elbow from Omori on Inoue. They're really building up this Hokuto elbow. I thought this match was very solid.
I mean, this wasn't even like the most they've built up that elbow because we'll get to that later because they're really like if we're saying they're really building up that elbow, they are really building up that elbow.
Yes. And then Kento Miyahara and Yuma Aoyagi defeated Yuji Nagata and Ryuki Honda in 1743 when Aoyagi pinned Honda with the Fool. I thought this was very good, of course. How could it not be? Although I have to say, I thought maybe Honda was in line for a title shot against Yuma, and I don't feel like that's happening. And Honda's sort of spinning his wheels right now. And I thought they had plans for him, and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, that's really been the problem with him, right? Over like the entire year, or like, not even like the entire year, but like for like a bit now, where like it just seems to be just constant, like start and stop with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just, they push him for a bit and then they just stop. And but like whenever they stop pushing him, he just immediately becomes like the fall guy. It's not even that he just gets like a little bit shuffled down the card. He just immediately gets dropped to the bottom of the card.
Yeah.
I mean, not like in terms of like actual card positioning, but like in terms of he's always the fall guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if like a guy of his like size, I would make like the fall guy.
I have to say though, he's still only 23.
Yes. No. Obviously, there's a lot of time left here. Like this isn't really comparable to like Inamura. Like, he already has more accomplishments than Inamura. But it's just a bit frustrating. But I'm sure like eventually they like get a bit more consistent in pushing him.
Yeah. And then Evolution versus Voodoo Murders. Suwama Hikaru Sato and Dan Tamura defeated Jun Saito, Rei Saito, and Toshizo in 2024 via referee stop. Suwama got Toshizo in the Manriki sleeper. I mean, it was fine for a Voodoo Murders match, like for a Voodoo Murders 6-man, maybe a little on the long side, but certainly not as offensive as you might think for a Voodoo Murders 6-man. I don't know. And after the match, they all hugged. Evolution all hugged and everything.
Yeah. I actually kind of expected Dan to turn, but I guess based on what they like did on the next show, I guess it makes sense that didn't happen.
No. Because we move on to the Summer Action Series at Shinkiba First Ring in front of 324 fans. Super no vacancy, full house. I mean, these are not big venues, but that's good for All Japan.
Yeah.
First up, Takao Omori defeated Koki Iwasaki in 8 minutes and 22 seconds with the Axe Bomber. Very solid opener. I like Iwasaki. I think he would be a good guy just to have around in the mid card. You know, a heavyweight that can add some depth.
Yeah.
And then All Japan versus Voodoo Murders.
Wouldn't
Yuma
recommend.
Anzai and Ryo Inoue defeated Kono and Toshizo in 10:03 when Inoue uses Savat kick on Toshizo. I mean,
Where did he hit him with the Savat kick? It actually says it right there.
in the groin?
No, in
Oh.
the face.
Face. And that's what that would Gescht.
Gesicht.
Geschicht. Okay. I mean, this was okay. I mean, at least the young guys won, I guess. But
Yeah. No,
Kono was
I think
just
it's perfectly fine.
Kono's just a big lug.
Yeah. No. I mean, Toshizo's still fine, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Toshizo would be better if he wasn't in the heel.
yes, no, absolutely. He just, yeah. I mean, the whole Voodoo Murderers thing just feels really weird right now, especially if the Saitos aren't around. They're just kind of like actually completely useless.
And then next up, Satoshi Kojima in Aigle Blanc defeated Yoshitatsu and Black Mensa Ray in 9 minutes and 50 seconds with the Desert Eagle from Blanc on Mensa Ray. Okay, so this is my first time seeing Aigle Blanc. I mean, he's obviously got skill, but like he's one of those guys that has to do like extra spins just during a drop toe hold.
Yes. He is still very much in that young, agile wrestler phase where he just has a tendency to just do too much shit, basically, just to show off that he can.
Right. Like in the most inane moves, like a drop toe hold. Like,
Yeah.
It's fine. Like he did like a moonsault to the outside and stuff like that. That's cool.
And I mean, he is also Parisian. So, like, this also seems like very much the way a guy from Paris would wrestle.
With that extra like pomp and
Yeah.
That's funny. But I mean, I thought he looked good.
Mhm.
He's in an interesting place where he's like kind of tall, but like incredibly skinny.
Yeah. And he's also at that perfect age as well because he's 24.
Yeah.
So, like I think if he like starts eating Chanko now, I think that's gonna help him like fill out that frame.
Yeah.
Because I think he could be a credible heavyweight as well, and then he can like learn to like use his athleticism like a bit more as well for like stuff other than just like needless flips.
Yeah.
So I think like he really is like a guy that I think will really like benefit from doing this. He's been wrestling for a while actually. Like he's actually been wrestling since he was a teenager.
Okay. So what's it? Oh yeah, it says here on Cage Match he's been wrestling since 2013.
Yeah.
This year there's a lot of like young Europeans that start really young.
Mm-hmm.
Like Francesco Akira started really young too. He was like, that's interesting.
I mean, it's interesting that there's so many like Europeans coming over now.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say,
Big Japan is booking a boatload of Europeans all of a sudden.
Well, on the 17th, he worked a Dove Pro show with Tristan Archer.
Yeah.
Do you know
they're both French?
Do you know who he worked against on that Dove Pro show?
Was it Brother Yashi?
It was Brother Yashi.
I mean, it's a Dove Pro. Was it Brother Yashi and Ray Paloma?
Well, it was a singles match.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yashi defeated him in 9:30, and then Tristan Archer defeated Kaida Yano.
Well, I mean, it's a Dove Pro show.
Oh my God, Kaisuke Okuda was in the main event.
Oh God, that is such a like, I don't know. That is such a wait. Is that his first match since he got released from Dragon Gate? Oh no, yes, actually has been a.
No, he's a regular Dove Pro guy now.
Yeah,
this is his third Dove Pro show since May.
I mean, that is kind of the like. I mean, it's because I was about to say that's like where like cast of Dragon Gate guys go, but there's so many different places for them to go.
Yeah,
it's not even the lowest place they can go. Let's put it that way.
No,
that's secret base.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would assume that he might work some other, or Blanc might be working some other indies too while he's here.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good idea for him to just like really spread his wings and just work a lot of like different people, a lot of different styles, because that's how you learn.
Definitely. Although I don't know how much you're going to learn from Brother Yashi.
Yeah, maybe not from Brother Yashi. I mean, he's French. He probably already knows this.
And then next up we had Hikaru Sato and Hideki Suzuki versus Ryoki Honda and Kohei Sato. Went 10 minutes when Suzuki pinned Honda with a double arm suplex. Nice to see Hideki in All Japan in all honesty. I thought it was nice to see Honda on the mat.
Yeah.
That was cool. And Sato was just there.
Yes, I think I remember like one thing he did,
Yeah.
and that's about it.
But again, Honda's the fall guy, but I guess he sort of had to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I don't. I mean, I get kind of because he's friends with one of the bookers, but like I don't know. He could have like have Sato drop the fall here, but
Well,
I don't know.
Hideki and Hikaru are a top tag team in Tenru Project, Paul. So.
Yes. No, I mean I do like them. I actually think they should stick around as a tag team.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, especially if like because Hideki isn't because like with Hideki not in the N1, like it's not like he has anything to do with Noah.
N1. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, like with him not being there, it's not like he has anything to do with Noah over like the next like month and a half.
Could Hideki be in the Royal Road?
Ooh, that actually would be a good one, yeah.
Yeah.
Although it's always weird when he shaves, like here, like I always like don't recognize him.
Yeah, and his like perm.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about this. I would assume we're gonna get the Royal Road participants this weekend, finally. I thought we would have had them by now. And what do you think of like Hideki or Segura or someone like that?
Yeah, because I mean, like, who else are you gonna like? It has to be someone that isn't Indian one, obviously.
There's not, right, and it's got to probably be an older guy.
Yeah.
But watch it be Taniguchi. Not that I'm complaining, but
I mean, I like Taniguchi, but that would be like the most disappointing outcome, really, out of like the possibilities.
Right, because Soya's in the N1.
Soya's Indian one, it can't be him. So yeah, but I mean, I could definitely see like a Sugiura, Suzuki. I mean, Suzuki really makes sense because he was already on the show, right? So he has worked the promotion before. Actually, just for quick, before we get even the announcements of the N1 participants, I actually thought of someone else that might be winning the N1 and getting a title shot. That you could run on a big show and you don't need to give away really one of your own big matches.
What?
Minoru Suzuki.
Or for the Royal Road, you mean?
Yeah, for the Royal Road and then getting a title shot at Yoyogi if you want
I agree.
Biggish opponent for Yuma.
Yeah, but the question is like, could you just like? I feel like Kento versus Suzuki also that's been teased more.
Yeah,
but yes, Minoru Suzuki winning the Royal Road is I think possible.
Yeah,
we'll see because it's only a 4-show tournament. I think it's going to be 16 guys. And so, we move on to the All Japan World Tag Teams title skirmish. Minoru Suzuki, Hokuto Omori, Naruki Doi, and Naoki Tanizaki defeated Kento Miyahara, Suji Ishikawa, Rising Hayato, and Ren Ayabe in 13 minutes and 50 seconds when Omori used that skewered jumping elbow on Miyahara. And Paul, this finish was spoiled, but I didn't know when it was coming, and I was sort of still surprised, and the crowd lost it.
Yes, I did as well. Like I watched it live, and when I saw him for the jumping elbow, I was like, oh, but I was like, I mean, it's Miyahara, and then he counted 3, and I legitimately went, whoa. I was like, oh my god, I was like same as the crowd. Like I had the exact same reaction. I was like, I couldn't believe what I just saw. I was like, okay, that is a massive win for Omori.
Okay, awesome for sure.
Yeah, like I don't think you can really get like I said, they are building this thing up like huge.
Yeah.
And I think it really benefits Omori, right? Because he has never really had like what was really his, like he always had like the personality and the swag and all of that. That was always his like advantage. Yeah. But he never had really like this thing he could build a match around. And now he has that with the elbow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is certainly as of like in January of this year or December of last year, especially. I would have never expected Omori in this spot.
No, after he went like winless in the junior tournament,
which is good.
Yeah.
Obviously they got to do it, and they are serious about pushing these guys. I don't know. I don't think he's a Triple Crown champion, if I'm being completely honest.
No, but I think he's like a guy you can keep around in like your upper mid card, and you can have a challenge.
He's going to be a world tag team champion.
Yes, no, I do fully expect him to win that one, and I could also see him win like a Real World Tag League, or maybe even at some point down the line, like in a few years, win like a Royal Road and like and another Triple Crown challenge out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think he's definitely at that level. Maybe not higher than that, but yeah.
The match was good too.
Yeah,
and like I said,
the match was really good.
And like watching it was like why I thought, oh, maybe you want to just say if you're gonna have Suzuki do a job, maybe save that Kento versus Suzuki.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was fully expecting Ayabe to take like the fall here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then it was Kento Miyahara. I mean, with all of this, what they've been doing with the elbow and all of that, at Honda seemingly being fine, do you think this was just a really weird work
Yeah, it's
that they
very
did with
possible.
him? Like it just feels more and more like that was just, I don't know, like it came across so weird. But the more things have been going on, it feels like that was actually a work.
Oh, for sure.
Because they wouldn't, like, if this wasn't the plan, if this was all just like it just came out of him accidentally knocking out Honda, I don't think they would take it as far as having him beat Miyahara.
No.
Like that seems like it was like deliberate that from the beginning, like they were gonna build this up like absolute killer and then build the Triple Crown match around it basically. Yeah. Which that Triple Crown match now is a lot more interesting because again, before it was like, well, yeah, Omori has like no chance of winning. But now at the very least, you have like the thing where you can tease it with the elbow because it has been like such a killer move.
Yeah.
Where like every time he like goes for it, the crowd is gonna be like, oh, is he actually gonna win?
Definitely. I mean, it's pretty good building up for a guy who was in like his position.
Yeah, for a guy that like we were like speculating 6 months ago if he was leaving.
Yeah. And then in the main event for the Tenryu Project United National Tag Team Championship, Suwama and Dan Tamura defeated Yuma Aoyagi and Atsuki Aoyagi in 2031 with the last ride from Suwama on Yuma for they just defended those titles like a couple days before.
Yeah.
And
was this even announced in advance for the show? Because I kind of like
it was going to be it could have been like Hikaru. So basically the losers of that match were going to face Ryuki Honda and who did Kohei Sato replace?
Was it one of the Saitos?
No, I can't remember. Oh, no, he was replacing Hanabata.
Oh, yeah.
Which seems like a strange replacement for Hanabata.
Yes.
But I
probably
guess
changed to took the fall there as well.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, Shuji probably made like a phone call to his buddy at the last minute. Yeah, I mean, I thought this started off a little slow, but I thought it got real good towards the end. I thought they got put over strong, and obviously, I mean, I think Suwama's in play
for the Royal Road.
Yep.
Especially because they got to win directly over Yuma.
Yep. I mean,
I think that was notable.
Yoyogi, Yuma versus Suwama, and Kento versus Nakajima in September.
Yeah, with that one you can easily like got like a lot of tickets for that show. Yeah.
I mean, you kind of sort of got to give Suwama a token title defense and just have Yuma beat him, right?
Yeah.
At some point, anyway.
Unless Suwama just wins. That's always the thing where like I'm scared whenever Suwama's in a Triple Crown match.
Yeah.
And that would just be the dumbest possible thing. But we said that exact same thing exactly a year ago.
Yeah. I kind of think actually Atsuki losing this title sort of improves his GHC title, junior title chances too.
Yes, yeah.
You don't want to like have some guy bogged down with multiple titles in promotions he's not part of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no one's really a part of Tenryu Project.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, it's the politics of it all.
Exactly. Like, right? I think it's easier to just have Suwama and Dan there.
Because, okay, so, you know, the UN titles are on the Aoyagi brothers, and they both, you know, Yuma's the Triple Crown, and Atsuki
Yuma has like all of the titles.
and Atsuki's the GHC junior title. You can't get those UN titles off of them.
No. Like, that might also be why they did this title change in All Japan.
Yeah.
And not Tenryu Project, because they were like, well, we're not going to have our Triple Crown champion take a fall on Tenryu Project.
No. And but they'd probably offer up Dan to take a fall in Tenryu Project.
Yes, no, that's what I mean. Exactly. Dan being there is just like, it's completely irrelevant what happens to Suwama. Whenever you want them to like drop the titles, Dan can just take the fall.
Well, I think Suwama and Dan sort of represent the spirit of Tenryu Project.
Actually,
the Aoyagi brothers. You know?
Yes, no, very much so. Like,
And I
But it
think
was
it's
just weird that they did this whole tournament.
yeah.
And because they basically just held them for like a month, right? Defended them once 2 days before dropping the titles.
Yeah. Well, they got a Tenru Project got a defense show out of it.
Yeah.
And and I think also Dan's not turning on Suwama anytime soon.
No, I mean, unless it's literally like the way they lose it. That actually would be cool if that's the way they lose the titles.
It's very possible. But and again, also what you might have is Hideki and Sato might end up just winning those titles like in a couple of months from these guys too.
Yeah.
Because that would be politically acceptable.
Yes, I think that would make a ton of sense as well.
Yeah.
But I'm actually thinking like when I'm in Japan, I don't know if that's gonna work out time-wise, but if I can make that work, I might like try and go to like a Tenru Project show.
Oh, I would absolutely go to a Tenru Project show.
Like just looking at the way their shows were like happening last year, I don't think that will happen because they had a show on the 9th in Shinkiba, the 9th of January. And I'm already gonna be out of Tokyo by then. And then the other show was on the 27th of December, and I'm flying out on the 28th. So that won't work. Oh wait, no, that's 2021. Wait, what's 2023? Okay, and for 2023, it's even worse. They had a show on the 11th of December and on the 20th of January. But who knows? I mean, it seems like they don't really have consistency in terms of like when they book these shows. So maybe there's a chance.
Yeah. And then so All Japan's got those 2 shows this weekend. We talked about those. I mean, obviously, it's kind of obvious who's going to win. Yuma's beating Hokuto in the Triple Crown match. Also, just announced on that. I think this was a new announcement. Kojima, Lindemann, and Suwon Watanabe versus Kento Miyahara, Ryo Inoue, and Rising Hayato. And then now the Osaka show is a lot more interesting in terms of what's going on here. Because you've got Yuma Anzai versus Suwama.
Yeah.
Who do you think wins that?
That's an actually interesting one, right?
They could play that back as the Royal Road finals.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's not in the Royal Road. Yeah. He's not in the Royal Road.
Oh yeah, no, he can't be. He's in the N1, yeah. But do you also want him to like drop a fall when he's like in the N1?
Well, it's before.
Probably don't. Yeah, but again, you don't want him to like go with a loss into that tournament, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that one might be like a time limit draw, like or something like that.
Yeah, we'll see where its placement on the card is.
Because you could also like basically start off the whole like road towards them becoming a tag team there.
Yeah. And then I can't even believe I want to talk about this, but All Asia Tag Team Title Tornado Bunkhouse Current Explosion Death Match. Onita and Yoshitatsu, and I have to remind you, Onita is wrestling with a broken wrist versus Hikaru Sato and Dan
like
Samuel.
Still some like stitches from like his
aorta.
His aorta. Jesus Christ.
This will also be their 5th defense. I think it's time to end this.
Yeah. I've enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, the whole title reign, but I feel like it's run.
It's not as bad as you think it was going to be.
No.
But it's time to, I mean, because Onita, the longer you keep this on, or at least have to vacate.
Yeah.
And I think Sato and Tamura deserve a longer run with the titles. Al Lindemann versus Ryo Inoue, I think that should be kind of obvious. And now, Paul, this is very interesting because it's so the World Tag Team Title match, Minoru Suzuki and Hokuto Omori. I could see them winning, but I could also see them losing because maybe it's Kento and Yuma versus Axis as a long-term play, but maybe you don't want the titles involved in that. I don't know.
I mean, I could really see that one go either way. Like, I guess it depends. Like if we're doing like the whole Axis comes to like, if they're doing the whole Axis comes to All Japan to win the titles, then I think Yuma and Kento retain here. But if that's not what they're doing, then I could easily see like that basically like, because he's already pinned Kento, right? And he's gonna lose the Triple Crown match. So I could see like Hokuto kind of coming back here and like using his elbow. And especially if like Suzuki might be someone to win the N1.
The Royal Road, you mean?
The Royal Road, yes.
I mean, I could also see Suzuki pinning Yuma, and then I could see a Royal Road final with Suwama versus Suzuki.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Sort of rekindle their feud from 13, 14 years ago.
I mean, they're both still kind of wrestling the same they did back then.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. It's hard to say, which I suppose is good because,
Yes. No, that does make everything like a lot more interesting.
yeah, for sure. But I think gun to my head, it's Kento and Yuma retaining.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I think that is still the most likely outcome. But I feel like it's good that like you have multiple possible outcomes here, right?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And so that's All Japan. Very quickly, Evolution held their fourth event on July 15th at Shinkiba First Ring in front of 180 fans, which actually is not bad, all things considered, for what a 3-match show. It was a Evolution versus Sendai Girls show, basically. Minami defeated Sunny in 8:39. Mika Iwata defeated Chi-Chi in 12:33. And God, I have to see this match. Chihiro Hashimoto defeated Zones in 12:14. And that's like probably so good. And then Paul, I just want to bring this up because God, this show is turning into an absolute disaster. Great has announced the card for Sumo Hall.
It's such a weird card.
Kickboxing rules. We knew this one. Maya Fukuda versus Now. Great MMA rules. 3 rounds, 3 5-minute rounds. Tetsuya Izuchi versus Akihiro Gono.
Why? Just
why?
why? Like, and it seems to be like Shinya Aoki is the guy like that's booking this, right?
Yeah.
Because I think he's the one that announced it.
Yeah.
So like he is just so much better at like ruining young talent than Muto ever was. Because he doesn't even need to do it himself. Like, he doesn't even need to step into the ring to do it. Like he can just book shit like this.
Yeah.
Like what is the actual expectation here? Like how is there a scenario here where Izuchi comes out of this looking good?
Yeah.
At worst, he has a terrible MMA fight where like maybe he like wins, but like it's not even that it's like against a guy that is like worth anything.
Yeah.
And that's the best case scenario where realistically, maybe he goes the distance, loses by like decision, or we have like another like Soma Watanabe situation. But okay, even Soma didn't get knocked out, but like, like he might just walk out of this looking terrible, and then it takes like actual work to like repair these guys. Like you just make things so much harder on yourself for no reason.
Yeah, for sure. And then next up, for some reason, under Lidet UWF rules, it's Fujita, Junior Hayato, and Yu Izuka versus Minoru Suzuki and Shinya Aoki. Hayato's not even defending the title on the show.
Yeah. Like, why did he beat your own guy? Like, why are you doing a tournament? Have your own guy win, have him lose on the first defense, and then the guy like the guy doesn't even like get a title match on the Sumo Hall show. Like this is just like I can't even really put it into words. I'm just completely baffled. It's just actual nonsense.
And Issei Onitsuka and Yusuke Kodama of Yan's family versus Yuya Susumu and JD Lee. And if I am looking at the correct Instagram, JD Lee is a South Korean pro wrestler who's 21 years old.
I mean, good for him.
His gear looks almost exactly like Ryo Inoue's.
Hey, remember Yuya Susumu's Nora run?
Oh God, yeah. Now he's in great God. But hopefully, I mean, it's nice to see a young wrestler like Lee get a chance. Quiet Storm 25th anniversary match. Masakatsu Funaki, Quiet Storm, and Kazuma Sakamoto versus Taka Michinoku, Yuji Hino, and Issei Onitsuka.
Wait, what?
Right?
I didn't even realize that. Wait, is he double booked or is this wrong?
Let me check.
I think this might be wrong.
I think, yeah, well, someone's in this. He's probably teaming with Kodama and Yan's family. So maybe whoever's in the.
I think someone screwed that up there. Like, I don't think he's actually in that match. Because it wouldn't really make any sense.
Oh, no, he's listed in the 6-man.
Oh, okay.
And then he's listed in both matches. He's listed in both matches on the Lidet website.
What the fuck?
What is going on with this company? What is going on with this company?
Is Ito on the card somewhere else? No, right? Because if it's Yan's family,
Ito is in the main event.
Oh yeah, right. He is in the main event, yeah.
And then next up,
so he's just double booked.
Yeah, bizarre. Next up, then Kyoko Inoue, Chisako Unagi Sayaka, and Yukari Hosokawa versus Risa Sera Michiko Aoi. I don't know how to Oi. And Janai Kai. This actually has a chance to be one of the better matches on this show.
Yeah.
And then we have an incredibly random team versus Black Generation International. Kento Miyahara. Again, this is Sumo Hall, and this is what Kento's doing. Shigehiro Irie, Junji, and Jack Cartwheel versus Kotaro Suzuki, Hartley Jackson, Keiichi Sato, and Yutani.
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Ultra Junior One Night Dream, Kaz Hayashi, Minoru Tanaka, and Shima versus Hiromu Takahashi, Atsuki Aoyagi, and Jun Tonsho. Should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I don't know. I think this is the match I'm most looking forward to. T-Hawk versus Hayato Tamura.
Didn't you skip over the Saitos match?
Oh, well, okay. I'll go with that next. But T-Hawks versus Hayato Tamura.
I actually think this could be really good. And Hayato has to win here.
Yes, I agree. And then, yes, I skipped over it. But for the G Infinity title, Jun Saito and Rei Saito defend against Ryuichi Kawakami and Galeno Del Mal.
Because I was like, when you said that's the match you're looking forward to the most, like I actually thought like you were just talking about this one, because I am actually really looking forward to this one.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it too. I'm just thinking though the G-Rex title will be the best.
Oh, yes, no, I mean that I think that very clearly like has the best chance to be the best match. But I think this one could just be like a ton of fun of just like four just big dudes just slamming into each other.
Oh, for sure. I think the Saitos are losing.
Yeah. I mean, this is the perfect time to do it at Sumo Hall. Like, I mean, and what else are you really gonna like get out of them?
Exactly. Yeah. And then in the main event, and I'm pretty sure this is the main event.
I mean, it better be.
Yeah.
Because why? Like, you're booking Kota Ibushi and put him in a random like match, but then not even putting it in the main event would be like actual like booking malpractice.
And by elimination match, I assume that this means over the top rope.
Yeah.
Because I think there's going to be some people on these teams that are going to be going over the top rope.
Sorry, it's super premium elimination match.
Yeah, super premium. Takanori Ito, Soma Watanabe, Al Lindemann, Chek Shimatami, and Kaito Ishida versus Kota Ibushi, Shuji Ishikawa, Daisuke Sekimoto, Higani Shino, and Yumehito Imanari. These are all of Kota's buddies, I assume.
Yes, because otherwise, like, I don't know, this is just a really disappointing team. I like the great team, but like,
I mean, it could be
Kota
a good
Ibushi
match, but this is how I mean, is this the only way you could have booked Ibushi? Like,
probably. It's just like book all of my like DDT friends, basically. Well, I mean, some of them are still with DDT. Well, actually, really just Imanari, but probably people he got to know while he was in DDT. I think that makes more sense.
Yeah, Shuji. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. Well, Imanari too.
Yeah, and Shino. I guess maybe this is all that he could have gotten out of him, perhaps.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is like Kota's like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, that's also the other thing where like Great obviously doesn't really have a lot of like leverage.
No.
Whereas if you want to get that first Kota Ibushi match post New Japan, you probably had to like basically agree to whatever the fuck you wanted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I look at this. Do you think that Shuji and Kota are talking?
I mean, they have to be, right?
What are the chances you think Kota shows up on an All Japan show, even just to tag?
I mean, maybe, but I'm like, it sounds weird, but I'm not even sure if I want Kota Ibushi in All Japan. I know that sounds weird, but like, it just seems like kind of a headache.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, especially if he's like doing stuff like this, because this is like on the level of like Onita showing up on a CZW show and then turning like a singles match into like a 6-man with his buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this has that same energy.
For sure.
So,
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but like, who's winning? Like, obviously it should be in theory be the great team, but like,
no,
it's gonna be Ibushi, right?
Win.
No, yeah, obviously not.
Yep.
How many of these men though on the Kota Ibushi team will we see in
Higane
again?
Shino? Oh no, I was gonna say how many we're gonna actually take direct pinfalls.
Oh.
I was gonna say Higane Shino.
I mean, Imanari. I mean, I really hope we don't get pheromones Imanari though.
No, I don't think so. We'll get Ganbare.
Yeah.
But also, are they just like, is this going to be booked properly where it comes down to like Ibushi and like Watanabe or Lindemann or something?
I mean, it should be, but it's great. So I wouldn't be.
Could be like a
confident.
4, yeah. It could like Ibushi's team could be win like 4-0.
Yeah, like Lindemann gets like a pin on like Hagane, and then just Ibushi just eliminates. Or I don't know, like Ibushi doesn't even get really involved in any of the eliminations. It's just like Shuji Ishikawa just like mountain bombs all of them on top of each other and pins them.
Yeah. Yeah. Because think about who's going to do jobs on the great team. Check Shimatani, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Soma.
Yeah, I mean, I would avoid that, but like, I don't think we're getting around that. Ito shouldn't be
Lindemann and
involved, but he
Ishida
will.
are not. Lindemann and Ishida are not. Ito maybe.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know.
It's weird. It's such a weird.
This is
Like
not
you also
gonna
have
do
to take up. You have to take up so much of like your like upper card like real estate as well, just for this
Oh
match.
yeah, for sure.
Because like if you split out some of those 5 people on the great side across like this card, like the card looks a lot better than it does.
Yeah. What do you think this draws? I thought,
mean,
okay,
it is
this is going to
Ibushi.
draw. This is going to draw with Ibushi, but I thought Ibushi was going to get a singles match or at least a regular
Yeah.
tag.
I mean, but it is still right the first match Ibushi has in Japan
Yep.
since the G1 final where he got injured. So like just based off of that, it will draw. I mean, it's so like no wait, is the Blood and Guts match before this or after this?
Before Blood and Guts is tomorrow.
Oh yeah, okay. Shows how much attention I pay to AEW.
Yeah.
Good thing I'm going to the biggest show ever in like a month.
Well, yeah, of course you have to.
But yeah, I mean, like, so that means it's only his like 4th match, like since his injury.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's big. Like, and I think that will draw, but like, there's nothing really else here where I would be like, oh yeah, I want to buy a ticket to this show.
No.
I mean, T-Hawk Tamara, that I think, I mean, that would be like a match that probably would sell like a fair few tickets for like Tokyo Dome, like City Hall.
Yeah.
So,
But not sumo.
No, not Sumo Hall, not a Sumo Hall level match. So, yeah, I really don't have like if Kota Ibushi wasn't on the show, I would be like this will draw around what Noah drew for the All Juniors like Sumo Hall show.
Yeah.
Where we still don't really know how many they actually drew because apparently the number was so bad that it's the only number that they've lied about.
Yep.
So yeah, I really have I don't even know what I would call a disappointing number. I mean, if it still draws that like Noah like junior show number for the show with Ibushi on it, that's a massive failure.
Well, first of all, it has to beat for the love of God their first. Okay, Paul, I'm looking at here. Premium seat on the great show sold out.
Okay, so that's good.
The next level also sold out, whatever that is. But all of the other seats, first floor or square seat, first floor mass seat, first floor, second floor reserve seat, etc. They're all plenty available. The circle.
Yeah, that's
not good.
And we're like how far away from the show?
A couple weeks.
Yeah,
a little over 2 weeks.
I mean, so let's say they draw like 3,000 people.
I would consider that a success.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I mean. Like I'm not sure what I would call like a disappointing number for them because my without Ibushi, my expectation would be so completely through the floor.
Yeah.
Like okay, let's say they draw like Grand Princess 2022, 1,714 fans.
Yeah.
Like what if they draw like 2,000 fans?
Yeah.
Is that a disappointment or is that good? I mean, 0-1 allegedly. Okay, but like there's a very alleged on that number with 3,520.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I just have no good idea where I should like slot the show basically in terms because again like they just had their like biggest draw ever of like 1,300 people, and then to go from that to Sumo Hall is just such a massive jump.
Yeah.
Okay, like the last Big Japan like Sumo Hall show was 3,216. So I think if we like put it at like 3,000 people, I think is like a realistic expectation. But again, it's all based off of one match.
Yeah.
Or not even one match, just one guy in that match.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
We shall see. I don't know. This has got a disaster feeling.
Yeah. Oh, actually, on that last Big Japan Sumo Hall show, Lindemann was actually on that show.
Oh, okay.
As was Erie, as was T-Hawk.
Yeah.
Because we already had Strong Hearts at that point.
Right.
And hey, Kawakami was there too. Oh, yeah, that was Jake Lee and Naoya Nomura.
I remember that show.
Kawakami.
Yeah,
that show was really good. That show was really good.
That was really good. Yeah.
Because he had like Sekimoto and Walter versus Hino and Okabayashi.
Oh, right. Yes. And that's when Sekimoto T's challenging for the WWE UK title,
Yeah.
which never came to pass.
No.
Probably for the best.
Yes, I think we're all. Yeah, I know. It would have been really weird if Big Japan had become NXT Japan. That seems like a really cursed timeline.
Yeah. Why is Abdullah Kobayashi being assaulted in the parking lot?
I mean, thank God he's no longer the deathmatch champion.
Yes, Yuki Ishikawa won it, which is
Yeah.
very good for the future.
Yes.
The
yes.
overall direction of the company having him.
Makes me question why he won it in the first place, but look, at least
I saw
mean,
people talking about, did a
weird.
sponsor want?
Yeah, I think that seems incredibly likely because there's just no other reason why this happened this way it did. But yeah, we'll see where they go from here. Like the number they drew in Korakuen wasn't great.
No, it was like 500.
Yeah, but again, that's actually good for them these days because they normally draw like 300.
That's true. That's up, right? And it was Yuya Aoki versus Yasufumi Nakanoi in the same semi-main event.
Yeah.
For the strong title. So yeah. I mean, we've got the top two titles on two young guys. Which
I mean, they can only go up really. From
when was the last time that both titles were on younger guys?
Trying to think. Would you count Takeda during his reign as a younger guy?
Yeah, I would. Was that the same time as Kamitani? Or was that
no? That was. I think that was around the time, one of the times where what's his face? Hashimoto held the title as well. So I think around there-ish.
Right. Or Nomura.
No, the Nomura was way after.
Yeah.
After the Takeda reign.
Drew Parker.
Yeah. Kinda, I guess maybe you could count that. But like this is still kind of different because these are both like two homegrown guys.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good sign for them. And Tristan Archer was on that show teaming with Daichi Hashimoto against Demanji So and Daisuke.
No, I mean they have a good roster now. Like that's the thing. Like it's actually kind of like just will they actually do something with them?
Yeah.
But for now, it seems like they're moving up. I actually have to check out the show. I haven't watched it yet.
Has it even aired yet?
No,
it airs on.
It actually hasn't even aired yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I will probably check out that show as well. I've been really digging. Well, Big Japan is back, as we say.
Yes.
So yeah, I will have to check out that show. Because what was Okabayashi on this show, or was this the first post Okabayashi?
This was the first post Okabayashi, yeah, because I think it was like the Shinkiba show before this.
Right,
was
right.
His last show.
For now, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, so that. We'll be back in a couple weeks talking about probably maybe a more extensive N1 preview, maybe a Royal Road preview. And we've got a couple of there's not a ton happening beyond some announcements in those All Japan shows. So we'll see. But we'll be back in a couple of weeks. So for Paul Bosch, I'm Gerard DeTroyo, and we'll see you soon.
Hey everybody, my name is Jesse Collings, and I want to tell you all about my show, The Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast, here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. On the Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast, we do a thorough analysis on the biggest issues and trends within the pro wrestling industry. We talk a lot about pro wrestling media, we talk a lot about fan culture and wrestling's place within general pop culture, and we talk about the broader influences that are shaping the way we discuss and analyze the pro wrestling industry. We've had some of the brightest minds in the pro wrestling intelligentsia on the show, including WrestleNomics host Brandon Thurston, both Rich Craich and Joe Lanza from the Flagship Wrestling Podcast, Trevor Dame from the Through the Years podcast, and a whole lot more. This isn't a show for hot takes. It's not a show recapping the latest episode of television. This is a show focusing on the biggest topics in pro wrestling and doing a deep dive on the real stories behind the surface level analysis you might find elsewhere. The Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts, and we'd really appreciate it if you gave us a try. Thanks.
Hello there, everybody. It's me, Garrett Kidney, the co-host of You've Got to Be Kidding Me on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
And I am Liam Jones, my full name, and I'm also a part of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network as a co-host for You've Got to Be Kidding Me.
We are a TNA history podcast that covers TNA 1 month at a time. We cover all the drama, all the matches, all the Vince Russo nonsense you could ever want in your life.
Have you heard of TNA? I bet you have, but would it be funnier if two people made jokes over it the whole time? Probably.
So if that sounds like fun to you, check it out on this very Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network, and Liam will do bits and whatnot.